Hi everybody, I am Mercedes coming to give you guys one of this week's summaries for Coercion and Its Fallout by Sidman Ch. And my chapter this week was chapter 10 on how do we avoid. So let's dive on in. And I have my summary to the left of me, so that's why I might be looking away some bit. So basically, the first takeaway message I want to start with is the fact that we avoid, according to Sidman, we avoid in too many places without even thinking about it, and we behave in certain behaviors to prevent the experience of certain shocks, which in a nutshell is avoidance. And a little bit about this chapter. It teaches us how to recognize avoidance for what it is and understand its ramifications in our personal lives and in society as a whole. So the 5 subsections that it goes into are as follows. We have adaptive avoidance, staying out of the world, it's not my problem, who will blow the whistle, and if it sells, it must be good. So starting off with adaptive avoidance, basically we have adapted to avoid, to prevent the experience of certain phenomena, whether it be driving defensively to avoid a car accident, buckling our seatbelt to avoid injury, like us flying out the window during a car accident, putting on your coat when it's winter and it's freezing cold outside. We wear sunscreen so we don't get sunburn. We prevent infections by using antiseptic solutions and ointments. And he goes on, there are other examples that follow after that. And as far as adaptive avoidance goes, it's to the point where it's natural and automatic to prepare for the worst. And like many of us, me included, one thing, it was mentioned that there's a list of things that we struggle with. On the list was drugs, weight, and there were other things, but the main one that hit me was the losing weight line. And it suggested that the real problem is not that of self-control or lack thereof, but it's the fact that our surrounding environment has weak control, or it strengthens the avoidance contingencies that make us or make people not lose weight or not stop doing drugs. And it gives a little tip for physicians who don't necessarily study behavior. And it says that physicians can learn a little bit about behavior by using a person's environment to influence a diet plan rather than just the diet itself, like enlisting the family and friends to help with the compliance aspect of sticking to that diet or that prescription prescribed by the doctor. And another note added was the phrase preventative medicine is basically allowing for avoidance and is avoidance. Like you take this to avoid getting sick. So that's how I saw it, as it's adaptive. We've learned, and this is just how we practice avoidance in our everyday lives without even knowing it. The next section it goes into is the part of staying out of the world. The biggest connection I made with this to make it more sink in was examples of like individuals leaving the Amish community and those described like the chapter that join like sects and cults to escape their previous environment. So, and in their heart of hearts, the individuals, they are breaking away from a previous aversive environment just to join another environment in order to reduce the power, but it's reducing the power of the original place. And this is essentially avoidance, and it's literally taking like the lesser of two evils, but they don't see it as that until a lot of time passes by. And that ties into the fact that it's a delayed shock, that this new place might not be as good as the last place due to different levels of negative reinforcement, different levels of coercion that might be involved in like a cult setting. And then when it comes to recognizing avoidance, it's important to understand that the young will leave one society, and that is avoidance. But what needs to be reevaluated is not the new environment, why that new environment is so appealing, but what is making them leave the original environment. And then we move into the "it's not my problem" segment of the book. And the biggest thing I got from that is the question, like, why do we not vote? And it's basically this chapter talks about avoiding participation in society. It's our disengagement from important things in our life. Like, for example, if you go to an HOA meeting, you might figure out some reasons to why they're increasing the price for passes of the pool, or why they're implementing new parking passes for residents. Another example they put is going to vote and then registering to vote. And another statement Sidman threw in there was that even major professionals do avoid taking action against their counterparts. And that goes into the "it's not my problem." So, like, if they're doing wrong, it's not my problem. I don't have to do anything about it. And that's the problem. And that ties into the fact that that's the problem. Like, we abandon each other in times of need, and that turns into, that'll in the end over time turn into violence and more strife within the community. Sidman flips it and takes it to another side of the society aspect with homelessness and people being hungry. And people will avoid that kind of strife because it takes time, it requires effort and money to pay attention. And so people will dismiss these individuals as lazy and justify not having to deal with them, therefore protecting themselves from an inconvenience. And that's the social disengagement aspect that I didn't even know was suggested as a national policy, as told in Sidman. And that policy will only lead to further economic polarization and catastrophe, which I totally agree with, because it just only leads to disengaging ourselves and not participating in the social responsibilities that we have as people. And that's dangerous in the long run, no matter what. Another thing that resonated with me in this section was the no decision aspect. So, like, if someone tells you, "Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to take out the trash?" And then you respond with, "Do whatever you think is best." That no decision, like, someone might take it as a, "Oh, no, I really don't have to," or a yes, or a maybe, which then turns to maybe a no. And it's just no thing. It's always a yes or a no. Someone will either do something or someone won't do something. And that aspect, that thought, makes avoidance all the more prevalent in our lives. The next section is who will blow the whistle. And that ties in a lot of the military and more top of the society thought process on, like, that brotherhood mentality on like see no evil, hear no evil, do no evil, and kind of protecting each other. But this type of avoidance is literally looking the other way when something's going wrong, and it's generated by the coercion that we do see in the top of society, in the military, and the legislative branches in our nation, and then it trickles all the way down. Last but not least, it's the if it sells, then it must be good. And this mainly, like, attacks the marketing individuals in this world, where, like, so many companies, schools, hospitals, they'll hire individuals that basically work to protect their own jobs and ensure their own survival, even if it means it's at the cost of the original goals of the organization. So they'll only focus on, "Oh, we just need to make sure this money keeps flowing in," and not on the quality of services that they're giving to individuals in society. And Sidman sums it up by saying it's the survival over the operation. And this is seen in, like I said, the health administration, higher educational systems, where environments are created that are focused on the financial survival and not on the quality of patient care or education given to society. And if the marketing people were to, like, go away, the economic consequences would be seen immediately. The educational consequences would be a little bit more delayed. So that would be more of a delayed shock. And when it comes to how Sidman basically throws all this out and lays it all on the line. And last but not least, Sidman makes it known that coercion will prevail to reduce actions that threaten the increase of quality if profitability will be sacrificed. And that goes to show that, like the statement says, like, if it sells, it must be good. It doesn't matter the quality. As long as you're selling it and you're making money off of it, it's great. It does need to be fixed. Which then brings me to my question of the week for you all in Group 1. My question is, what theme would you say you most align with or you're most like? Are you one of the people that prefer to stay on the outside of the world? The ones that say it's not my problem? Or the ones who ask who will blow the whistle? Or even you have a marketing state of mind and you're more, if it sells, then it must be good. I know I definitely will fall under it's not my problem, just because I'm quick to delegate things, especially in my workplace. I'm quick to delegate. All right, I see this going wrong. It's not really my problem. I don't get paid enough to deal with this. So, hey, you're my supervisor, or you're the one that's in charge of managing all of us. Can you see and understand or figure this out? But that's not me. Hope to hear from you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Good night.